Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. We do so much to make sure that on Pesach we have no connection to any Chometz. Due to the severity of the Isser of Chometz, that's Asr B'Mashu and Bal Yirah, Bal Yomotza, we do Bittul, Bedika, Biur Chometz, Mechiras Chometz. We do so many things to make sure that we have no ownership of Chometz. The question becomes, what happens if, despite all that, on Pesach you find some Chometz? Now, you have two options. Option number one is, it's not my chametz. It was sold to a guy, so ignore it. It's going to be around, so you take that chametz and put it into the places that you've sold, and it's the goyish chametz. Option number two is that you burn it if it's not on yontif. If it's a chalamayid, you burn it to get rid of it. Make sure it's not around. But there's a basic question. From one hand, I just sold it before Pesach to the guy. It's not mine anymore. If it's not mine, how could I burn chametz that belongs to a guy? And Shulchan Aruch and Choshen Mishpat and Hilchos Gzeila, Siman Shin Nun Tesif Aleph, it says you're not allowed to steal a kol shoe, bein mi Yisrael, bein mi avigachavim. You can't steal from a guy. So if it's not my chametz, how can I turn around and go and burn the chametz? This question is addressed in some of the Achronim today. In Sefer Mikroi Kodesh from Rabbi Frank, in the section of Pesach, Siman Ayin Dalid, he says that if somebody taka made the Mechiras Chometz, and he finds during Pesach, he finds Chometz, he's taka not allowed to burn it. It's not his to burn. Rabbi Shmuel Vosner, however, in Shevet HaLevi, Chelik Tes, Siman Kuf Tezayin, says, yeah, if you find it, you could burn the chametz. Why? He says, I'm not so sure that would be considered stealing or harming assets of a goy. Because since the custom is that from one hand we consider the chametz sale of complete sale to the goy, nevertheless, the fact is that the goy knows that he's buying it and he's going to resell it and give it back eventually to the yid after the guy has no intention to actually have enough from the chametz. He wants to buy it halachically. So if so, he really wouldn't even mind if any of that chametz will get burnt, because he doesn't have any loss halachically. Since it's a halachic sale, it's not a tangible financial sale. So he says, I don't know if burning that type of chametz that now halachically belongs to a guy would bother him, that it would be considered stealing from the guy. That's Rav Shmuel Vosner's. Rav Moshe Sternbuch in Tshuvas V'Hanagos, Chelik Hey Siman Kuf Yud Daled, he also discusses the question, and he says he believes that you're allowed to burn the chametz based on, again, in Choshen Mishpat and Hilchos Gzeila. It's discussed whether or not you're allowed to eat fruit that belongs to a friend of yours without asking for permission, if you know that your friend will most probably allow it anyways. So over there's a discussion, because maybe in that case, even though in general there's the big machlekes whether yiush shalei midas have a yiush, but in that case you say if the yid, friend most probably would allow it, it wouldn't be considered geneva. So it says Rav Moshe Sternbuch over here, we are sure that if you would ask the guy permission, may I burn some of this chametz, and I won't pay you, and you won't cost anything. Of course, the guy will agree. So maybe you could rely on that in advance, retroactive, even without asking, and relying on that fact to be able to burn the chametz, and the yid will not become responsible on whatever. It won't be considered as if he's stealing from the guy. Now, this is a regular chametz that you sell, and then you find it. There are other scenarios where this comes up too, where there's goyish chametz, which a yid is not really has no problem with it. But because the yid is attached to it with it in some way, he's mekabel achrayis, he's responsible for it. So the halacha says that alone is a big problem for a yid. So halacha says in the Gemara says Masechta Pesachim that a yid that takes responsibility of a chametz of a goy, he has to burn it. How is he allowed to burn it? It's also gezela. So these shilas come up in all these situations, and we discussed it why it would not be considered gezela.